people bring up Houston or whatever, but Russell Westbrook is the one that started his downfall, like in the 17-18 season.
I just don't think he has it anymore.
Should any team want Carmelo Anthony?
Blasphemous.
Yes, sir, Carmelo.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Control the Narrative, a podcast where we control the narrative that the media creates. If you're new around here, subscribe to catch our weekly podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And if you're a returner, a subscriber, or better yet, a Control the Narrative member, we appreciate you. A little more if you're a member, I'm being honest with you. Episode 94. I was born in 1994, so this episode holds a little bit of a special meaning to my heart. Episode 100 is 6 weeks away, and 6 weeks from today is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's February 2nd is going to be our 100th episode. Obviously, 100 is a big number. We have some things planned for that. Making a little studio, so we're going to have a little bit of a different look, so you don't see just fucking pitch black behind me. So we got a little bit of a different look coming, so I'm excited about that. But what I'm also excited about is our guest for tonight. If you have been a Control the Narrative subscriber on YouTube for the past year and a half, you might recognize this guy, even though he fucking seems like he aged like 15 years. Last time we talked to him, he seemed like he was like 15, but he came on now, and we were just talking before, and he seems like a grown man now. So this man we're about to introduce, I think I know a lot about Carmelo Anthony. I feel like this dude almost knows more about Melo than me. It is the Control Game Night Champion, my guy Billy.
What's good, yo?
Show, buddy.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. And bro, I remember when we had the Control Game Night, and we had the first 2 episodes, I think. Yeah. And I think you commented on YouTube, or maybe you DM'd me.
Yeah, on Instagram. I kept on telling you to get me on.
It was IG. Yeah, it was IG.
Yeah.
This guy was like, yo, like I knew every single answer to the first 2 episodes. Like, yo, get me on. And I'm like, this dude's talking a big game. Fuck it. Like, let's get him on. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you missed one answer.
No, yeah, I missed like one. That's it.
Do you remember
and
what
it was off someone else's question.
So it's pretty much Jeopardy, Control Game Night. When the pandemic first started and we didn't have basketball to talk about every week like we do now, I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, we need to just make some content. And I was like, yo, let's do a Melo Jeopardy. So when Billy says it was off someone else's question, if you got it wrong, you would just go down the line.
Yeah.
And this dude got every fucking one of his questions right. And it was amazing. So again, Billy, good shit on that. Sure. And thanks for your time tonight, bro. I know I've been trying to get you on for a minute.
Yeah.
And we finally have the Control Game Night host, Control Game Night champ on. So let's get into it, man. Lakers, again, it's just such an up and down roller coaster season so far. Lately, besides this last 2 games, Melo hasn't been taking too many shots. He went single-digit attempts in 7 out of 8 games. And I posted something on Instagram where I was like, yo, this sucks. I think, we can officially hit that panic button where it's like, yo, he's not getting shot attempts. The team's not winning. This is not a good look right now. And I pulled up the video of Melo on $1 Million Worth of Game podcast over the summer. And he was saying that LeBron called him and was like, yo, Melo, I don't want you. Like, I need you. So I was like, cool. Then how come he's getting single shot attempts? So just straight up, do you think that the Lakers need Melo because LeBron told Melo himself over the summer that they needed him? Do you feel like they need him, that's still the case?
To be honest, I do feel that LeBron wants him and needs him, to be honest. But like, I feel like the coaching and Frank Vogel like doesn't like implement him as well. Like ever since THT came back, his shot attempts have been going down, and yeah, basically.
And we looked it up right before, and I think he was putting up 16 points a game on 13 shots before THT. 12 shots. And see, this is the fucking Control Game Night champ right now. Yo, I know you're the host and shit, but it was 12 shots, not 14. 12 shots a game, and then since THT came back, 9 shots a game, 3 shots difference. It doesn't seem like that much, but that could potentially be anywhere from 6 to 9 points if he goes 3 for 3. So, yeah, man, I agree. I think that the coaching is something that I don't want to say it's an issue because we can't really say anything. Frank Vogel's an NBA champion. A lot of people say LeBron's the coach and shit like that. But ever since Fizdale took over
this last game,
Melo put up 17 shots last game.
Yeah.
And I know that AD went down in that Minnesota game, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. But for one game without Vogel, and Melo has the highest shot attempts since November 4th against the Thunder.
That long, Jesus Christ.
November 8th. November 4th, he had 18 shots, and he hasn't taken 17 since then. So you just feel like it's on the coach to be like, yo, Melo, get on the elbow.
Get him more touches. Like, they used to get him involved with screens, post-ups on the block sometimes, like in the first 12 games or whatever. Like, now they're not even going to him. They're just making him sit in the corner, wait for Malik Monk when he was off COVID, or TST to drive, kick it out, shoot it.
Yeah.
And Wayne Ellington has been getting better looks than Melo like the last 12 games because yeah.
And Melo's shooting a higher percentage from him still. Just wanted to note that. You don't feel like it's on the players at all? Like, obviously, we know the influence and power that LeBron has on any team or organization he's at. So you don't feel like it's on LeBron a little bit to be like, yo, Melo, you're my quote-unquote brother. I brought you here.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it starts with Russell Westbrook because, like, he's a point guard. And, like, Westbrook has been detrimental to Melo's career, to be honest. He's, like, people bring up Houston or whatever, but Russell Westbrook is the one that started his downfall, like, in that 17-18 season. Like, that season was, like, horrible. Like, that Jazz playoff series, like, the last game, Melo got, like, 6 or 7 shots. And this press conference after, like, just painting him as like a bad player, as a bad teammate or whatever. And that's like, to be honest, that's what started his like downfall.
That's a very interesting. I've never heard that perspective before. That Westbrook started the downfall. I think it was Phil. I think it all stemmed from Phil.
Yeah, I mean, Phil from New York. Yeah, obviously, yeah. Phil. Ever since Phil came in that 13-14 season, Melo literally hasn't made the playoffs for the Knicks until he got out of New York.
He went to OKC. He made the playoffs every single year in his career.
Yeah.
Not only the Knicks in his career.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson becomes the president of the Knicks, and then he went, 5 years without making the playoffs?
Yeah, he missed the playoffs 13-14, and his last season was 2016, 2017.
So 14, 15, 16, 17. So 4 years in OKC. A wild. I still remember the first time, because obviously, like I just said, Melo had made the playoffs every single year in his career up until that point. So he was a lock, and they were putting him in the promos, NBA playoffs. And he was in that 2014 playoff promo before the playoffs started, and then they missed the playoffs by one game.
Yeah, it was that last game against the Cavs where they were supposed to beat the Cavs, and they lose to the Cavs. Yeah, I remember that.
And then the fucking Hawks got in, right? The Hawks got the 8th seed.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably.
Against the Pacers. And I was like, yo, I swear the Knicks have a shot as an 8 seed. But anyway, man. Yeah, I think but
Russell Westbrook, like the decisions he make as a decision maker at the point guard position, like it's just like horrible, to be honest. Like, he's averaging 5 turnovers. Like, some of these turnovers aren't even like how are you a point guard? Like, Russell Westbrook's a shooting guard turned into a point guard, but he can't shoot. So he basically like in the clutch, you see him at the dunker spot whenever LeBron takes the offense in the fourth quarter. He's always in the dunker spot. That's because he can't handle the pressure of like closing games.
Yeah. So what do you think about people who say, yo, Billy, Westbrook is the all-time leader in triple doubles?
I mean, all his fake stats. What do you call it? That 16-17 season, I remember this one interview like after a loss in OKC, like where Melo's like, Westbrook, you're stealing my rebounds, like as a joke, right? Ever since then, I swear to God, Russell Westbrook like stopped looking for Melo. Like, I swear to God, he stopped looking for Melo. And that's like, to be honest, like where he started dropping from 18 points to 17 points. He ended up with 16.4, right? Like on the Thunder. Yeah.
I'm not gonna question you if you say it's 16.4. I believe.
Yeah, he ended like 16. Like, but what do you call it? He's like at the first 5 games of the season, like first 10 games of the season, like Melo was like the one averaging 20 points like off, and they were winning a lot too. But then like PG didn't like his role, so he went to Billy Donovan, and like the whole thing switched after like the first like quarter of the season.
Interesting. So you literally believe that Melo saying, "Yo, Russ stole my rebounds" as a joke?
I mean, to be honest, like not like obviously like not like that, but like I feel like there's like some kind of rift going on like at some point in that season where like Russell Westbrook, like they stopped feeding him, like he just had to get his shots off, catch and shoot. Steven Adams was shooting more than Melo at one point at the end of the season.
I remember
Like,
that.
he was averaging more, yeah.
I remember
And people were questioning if Steven Adams was the third option over Carmelo.
I remember that. Melo's arguably the fourth option when they're like, oh, he took a backseat to Russ and Paul George. Like, if you look at the numbers and if you're going strictly off field goal attempts, there was a lot of games where Steven Adams outshot Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, there was games Melo put up 6 shots, 4 shots.
In Denver, right? That was one game I remember.
There was one game against the Bucks at home where Russell Westbrook had that mean dunk. Melo, what do you call it? Russell Westbrook's just been detrimental to Melo's like career, to be honest. Like,
great point. I've never really heard anybody talk about that, especially stemming from OKC. But yo, real quick, sorry to interrupt if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, but just wanted to let you know that we have merch at Control the Narrative, and it's pretty fire in my opinion. This is the Pixel Melo t-shirt that I'm rocking. Anything from Cuse Melo to New York Melo, Hoodie Melo. On this shirt, we got Scapegoat merch, we got Black Ball merch, we got just regular Control merch. Shop CTRL the Narrative.com. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, stickers. Shop CTRL the Narrative.com. I think I got my point across. Go check it out. I bet you'll find something you like. Appreciate the support as well. Obviously, the merch sales help us fund these podcast episodes that we get to record every single week. So appreciate you. And back to the show. Fast forwarding to LA right now, and AD out a month, MCL sprain. Honestly, I think they're lucky it was that because it looked worse.
It looked like a tear.
It did, and obviously with AD, being so injury prone, like it's troubling.
Yeah, he gets injured every game,
every season for sure, and it sucks. Like we're not wishing that upon him at all, but if you look back, like look at his games played, with him out a month, what do you hope you see from Melo over the next 30 days? And then after you say what you hope you see, what do you realistically expect to see from Melo in the next 30 days?
What I hope, obviously, like he gets more post touches. He's like LeBron and Russell Westbrook's first progression on their reads whenever they pass the ball and like that. But like the beginning of the season. But to be honest, like THT is coming back from COVID. Dwight Howard's coming back. They're gonna ruin the spacing. Melo's probably gonna be standing in the corner again. THT is gonna be breaking shots from 5 feet in the paint. To be honest,
27.8% from 3.
Yeah,
this season.
And the crazy thing is he takes a good amount of threes.
Yeah,
in the game, like he takes those pull up threes, like, and LeBron finds them for like threes and stuff. So like
I'm just trying to look up exactly how many threes he takes a game. He takes 3.6 threes a game.
They come at the worst times too.
And when you're shooting 27.8% from 3, you probably shouldn't be putting up almost 4 threes a game. Yeah. Just my opinion. I don't know shit, I guess. But so you don't think the AD injury is gonna affect Melo? No,
well, Melo will get more post touches. Like he'll get more shots up. Like obviously, because AD takes like probably like 15 shots a game, right? Doesn't AD take that much?
At least.
So Melo will get at least 3 or 4 of those. So like, but will he be as efficient as he was when AD was there? I don't think so, to be honest.
Dude, to be honest with you, I think it's the opposite. By the way, Anthony Davis is taking 17.9. It's almost 18. Decent amount. But to be honest with you, all right, so the question is, what do I hope to see? And exactly what you said, I hope they feed him in the post more at the elbow and let him be a facilitator more.
Yeah, they started doing it in the Bulls game, but like with TSC coming back, I don't know if his role is going to stay the same, to be honest.
Fair. Yeah. But, either way, having a big, obviously LeBron, but having another big that can facilitate out the post, Dwight Howard can't do that. DeAndre Jordan can't do that. They really don't have another big that can do that. So having Carmelo on the post, on the block, at the elbow, whatever, being Anthony Davis, he can obviously fill his fucking shoes. He's not going to be putting up, numbers like AD was. Probably not at this point in his career, just in terms of efficiency. Even though, like, how much worse can it get? Because Anthony Davis is
shooting
a
like
historically bad shooter this
from
year.
three, right? He's shooting
Historically
horrible.
bad. Historically
and also
bad.
Melo can play make extremely well from the post.
Yeah.
You've seen his whole I think ever since that 15-16 season where he was averaging 4 assists per game on the Knicks, like ever since that season, I feel like Melo's been looking for people on double teams every single time, and he has really good vision out of the post. I don't understand. They were using him in that role, like at the beginning of the season. He was finding Malik Monk. He was making the extra pass to Wayne Ellington, stuff like that. At the beginning of the season,
and again, man, that's what we hope. Just give him an opportunity to be Anthony Davis, because I don't think Anthony Davis is as good of a facilitator as Carmelo Anthony is, even at this point in his career. So, like, how much worse can it get?
Yeah.
And he's shooting a historically bad percentage from three, Anthony Davis. So putting
Horrible.
Melo in there, is there really a downside? Like, what is the downside there? So that's what I hope to see.
The thing is, the coaching won't allow him for him to do that. That's the only option. It's because they're paying him the vet minimum contract. So like they don't want to feed a player that they're paying like $2.5 million to.
Yeah. And we've been talking about that over the past few weeks, like, playing time based on contract, like THT. If he's a vet player
on the Knicks is such a good example of that. Evan Fournier is still starting for the Knicks and he's playing horrible. He can't play defense. His shooting is like gone down. Oh, actually, it's been going up recently the last couple of games, but it's just if you pay a player, he's gonna get most of the shots, most of the minutes. THT got $30 million this year, so he's obviously gonna have some leeway with his minutes. Russell Westbrook, $44 million. He's obviously they're not gonna bench Westbrook at all, even though he deserves to be benched. I mean, recently he's been playing up to par, but Westbrook has been like horrible this season.
That's a great point. Like, how can you justify bringing a $40 million player off the bench? Like, you can't. You can't. You have to start him, and you just have to figure it out. And you look at a guy like THT, and if you just put blind stats, we're not the calculator boys here. This is not what we're doing. But if you just compared THT's numbers to Melo's, you'd be like, holy shit, why the fuck is this guy getting more shot attempts, more minutes? Like, why is this happening when he's shooting a worse percentage from the field, from the free throw line, from three? It just doesn't make sense.
And what is the drop off with Melo's defense? Melo's defense has been really average, like above average, to be honest, this season. Like Melo's been playing. He's in passing lanes. Last game he had 2 blocks, 2 steals. Like Melo, like whenever Melo's focused and locked in, he's easily an above average defender, even at 37 years old.
On the ball, like. Off the ball,
sometimes like he's lackadaisical, like, to be honest.
Yes.
But he's 37 years old. You expect that. And plus, Westbrook isn't a good defender. Westbrook just plays passing lanes. He gambles a lot. He's not a good defender at all. Wayne Ellington has been solid. Malik Monk is a horrible defender. So, like, I don't understand why these players are getting more minutes than Melo when they literally play the same amount of defense. If not, Melo plays better, to be honest.
And I say that all the time, how Westbrook has no excuse to be as bad of a defender as he is. He's literally one of the most athletic guards in NBA history.
Most athletic guard in NBA history. I'll give him that. Well,
There's no reason he shouldn't be able to fight over a screen or move laterally. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But, what do I expect to see from Melo the next 30 days? I think, similar to what you said, I think he'll get, a few more shots a game. I think he'll get a few more mid-range attempts a game and shots from the elbow, and maybe his assists will go up a little bit. So I'm excited to see, man. Again, obviously the Lakers need Anthony Davis to be healthy and at his best if they're going to win a championship. But in this meanwhile, I think because we're fucking Melo fans, inserting him into Anthony Davis's role shouldn't be too much of a drop-off, just because of how poorly Anthony Davis is shooting the ball and how he's not really a facilitator like Melo is, or like Melo can be if he's given the opportunity. So, that's my thoughts on that. Another thing that we talk about sometimes and we see sometimes is these Laker runs. There was a span of 2 possessions in that Bulls game the other night where Melo blocked somebody, they threw it up, LeBron dunked it.
Next possession, Westbrook.
Yeah, then Westbrook saved it. LeBron threw it up to Melo, and Melo did a little spin move step
on
back
the
three.
court. That was fire.
Fire.
Yeah.
So when you see shit like that, it's so frustrating because obviously it fucking gets us hyped because we're like, yo, let's go. That was fire.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, it's like, why can't they do that more frequently? They don't have to do that every fucking possession throughout the game.
They don't have to do it every possession.
In critical times, like coming out of the third quarter, like, hey, you might want to start off the quarter high and not let the other team gain some confidence and cut that lead from 20 points to 10 minutes and a minute, 20 points to 10 points in a minute and a half. Like, that's frustrating. So for you, all right, last interruption, because if you're watching or listening to the podcast for this long, you probably fuck with us. And if you fuck with us, you'll probably fuck with all the perks that you get from being a Control the Narrative member, whether that's access to our invite-only Discord where we're talking basketball all the time, or opportunities to join the next episode of Control. So whenever we need a guest, I go in our Discord, I say, yo, who's free? Who wants to hop on the next episode? And I pick from there. You get 20% off merch forever, and then you also get member-exclusive merch, all by being a member. Tiers start at $2 a month. So if you fuck with us, go check out a membership, CTRLthenarrative.com, and I will see you in the Discord. All right, back to the show for good. Do you think it's strictly effort for this Lakers team? Like, do you feel like, again, we talked about it recently, but there's a flip that they could switch that when they're like, yo, come on, let's do this shit, that they're a great team, or do you think it's something more than that?
It's mostly effort, to be honest. It's mostly effort. But what do you call it? The rebounding is all effort, to be honest. Like rebounding. Yeah. Rebounding is effort. The defense that they play, when they lock in, they'll lock in. But old teams like this, like they do it consistently down the stretch. So we're gonna have to see if they start playing defense down the stretch.
Yeah. So you think it's strictly effort? You just think?
Yeah, mostly effort. And some of it's game plan by the coaches, like what kind of defense they're running, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's a mix. You know, a few weeks ago we had Manny on, and Manny was like, "No, yo, they have a flip that they have a switch that they're gonna flip. Like they'll be okay."
Yeah, I feel that switch too. I feel that switch like in the playoffs. I feel they're gonna have that, yeah, because every position is gonna matter more. Like they're not gonna be fighting loose balls because they're all like so old. Like if they don't want to risk injuries, like you saw what happened to Anthony Davis, they're gonna be more like concerned with that. And what do you call it? Like last game against the Bulls, like LeBron had two possessions where he found Melo for three, like back to back, and Melo cut the lead. So what do you call it? They need to like get Melo like more involved, like off like LeBron's post ups, like that they used to do at the beginning of the season.
And that also comes with the off-ball screens. There was a few times where there's set off-ball screens.
Off-ball screens for Melo in the corner. He comes in.
Whether it was Russ or whoever, and like they should be doing that every fucking possession. Yeah. So for me, man, it's just strictly effort for this Laker team. I don't think it's strictly effort. I think effort has a lot to do with it. Yeah. And fair to your point and to Manny's point, like this is an older team. The guys aren't that young, and you know they're not going crazy diving on the floor and shit like that. But this Lakers team also isn't gonna beat teams just straight off talent on every single night. So when you can't beat people on talent because you have guys like THT putting up 4 threes a game, shooting 27% from three, you have to put in a little bit of effort. And it just seems like they haven't been able to figure out the crucial moments in games when they need to exert that extra energy and dive on the floor and, you know, lock down on defense and box out on the boards and shit like that. And that to me is a little worrisome because it's like, yo, is it on the coaching staff? LeBron's been in the league for 19 years, Melo 19 years, Dwight, 17 years, like Westbrook, 14 years. So these are all vets who should know these things by now. And the fact that they haven't yet is
concerning.
It's concerning to me because it's, you know, Frank Vogel, he's coached in Indiana, in Orlando. He won a championship with LA. Like, he should know these things of when to call timeouts and, like, really rip into players and be like, yo, THT, stop fucking shooting threes, or, you know, Dwight, box out, or whatever the case is. And they just haven't figured it out. So I just think it's a mix of a lot of things.
Yeah, it's also personnel. Like Russell, like Buddy Hield would have been a better fit for the Lakers because what do you call it? Buddy Hield and Russell Westbrook. Like Buddy Hield is pretty bad on defense, but it's not going to be a difference. And Buddy Hield spaces the floor, so like I feel that it's just a personnel on the team that's causing them to get on slow starts because like they're starting Russell West. Some games they're starting Russell Westbrook THT, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and DeAndre Jordan. Like I don't understand how that's gonna work. Like where are you gonna create shots from? Like that's part of the reason why Anthony Davis is shooting so bad from three. Is because there's barely any spacing on the court whenever he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, and even when he played the 5 sometimes, like I went to the game at MSG where he played the 5, I'm pretty sure. I don't think DJ or and he had the flu, so like fair enough. But yeah, man, I think it's a mix of the personnel, it's a mix of energy, it's a mix of effort, it's a mix of, just pure X's and O's where it's like, all right, cool, Melo, we're stand in this corner, Russ, come back screen. Like they just haven't figured it out yet. And one thing that I said was like, what is going to change on this team in 3 months from now for us to be confident enough to be like, yo, this team's, besides like some crazy trade, what to you is going to be like, all right, cool. Once I see this, then I'll be confident in the team.
It's when they realize that Russell Westbrook isn't a good facilitator and they start using him more in the dunker spot, like from the beginning of the games.
He's a slasher now.
Yeah, he's a slasher. He's strictly a
slasher.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Billy. Good stuff, man. Well, 24 minutes and counting. But before we let you go, I know you've watched the podcast before. We allow all our guests to control a narrative. It doesn't have to be Melo related. It doesn't have to be basketball related. It doesn't have to be sports related. But I'm going to give you the floor to control a narrative.
That Carmelo Anthony isn't a bad leader or a bad teammate. Like Carmelo Anthony, every single spot he's been at, like I have so many friends saying that how he used to be a cancer for the Knicks when they don't look into the whole story about like Carmelo. He has to deal with all the media after games, putting the loss on himself if they lose, and putting the blame on himself every single time he loses. And like every single teammate that's on podcasts or like talking on online, they never say anything bad about Carmelo Anthony. And that's because like Carmelo Anthony's been such a great teammate. Like Damian Lillard's rapping about how Carmelo Anthony is like a good teammate and shit. CJ McCollum was talking about how Melo was a good teammate on his podcast like two weeks ago whenever they played him or whatever. Oh no, not whenever they played him, but whenever the conversation came up. Yeah, so like I feel like Carmelo Anthony, like people give too much hate on Melo whenever the topic comes up about his leadership and him being a bad teammate, because he was never a bad teammate.
Facts. And anybody who doesn't understand the New York situation, Billy, send them the black ball link.
Yeah, facts. Literally, the New York situation was because of Phil Jackson. Like
100%.
Yeah.
100%, man.
He traded Tyson Chandler for Samuel Dalembert. He got like we're starting Jason Smith at power forward, like that 14-15 season.
Lou Munson, Cole Aldrich.
Yeah, Cole. Oh my God, bro. Those 2K teams were disgusting. I couldn't even play.
Jose Calderon, Langston Galloway.
Aaron Aflalo. He used to get hella post.
Aaron Aflalo was decent.
Yeah, he averaged like 11 points, but like his play style was not it for.
I want to look this up to see if he actually averaged 11 points.
Like 11 or 12, yeah.
12.8.
Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah, man. It was a wild ride in New York, but Billy, you killed it, bro. Thank you for taking time out. I hope you did well on your test, because we've been trying to get you on for a minute. Yeah. And 2, for being a follower for a minute and being always active and in the DM.
I always like all your Instagram posts. Every single time I wake up at 12 a.m. You guys always post. So I like it automatically. Sometimes I don't earlier, but I end up liking all of them.
Fuck yeah, I know, man. I see all your shit. So we appreciate you, bro. Thanks for taking time out to record tonight. And
also, I want to say that big shout out to you, because like you have like 10K followers on a Carmelo Anthony fan page. Like that's not hard too. Carmelo Anthony follows you. His Lala Anthony follows you. Like that's so inspirational, to be honest.
Man, yeah. It's credibility at the end of the day. But whenever people bring this up, the number one thing I is that if we didn't have people commenting and sharing our shit and doing all that shit, like nobody would give a fuck. But the fact that we have people in our comments and our DMs and like liking our shit and just like building this fucking community where it's like we watch the games. We don't just listen to what the news says. We don't just listen to the box scores and
never
the
played
calculator
basketball
boys.
In their life. People that never played basketball in their life talking about basketball.
Exactly. So, maybe
literally
we'll challenge those people to a couple games and shit. We'll see who comes out on top. But
yeah.
Yeah, Billy. It was good having you, bro. Now that we got one out of the way, hopefully you'll feel a little more comfortable and we'll get you on again.
Hopefully, yeah.
If you're down.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, my guy.
All right. Thank you. Thanks
Stay
for having me.
mellow, baby.